complain about comics for a minute?
I mean, you're probably going to, regardless of whether you've resolved to or not.
So, I get constantly annoyed by people suggesting that Magneto shouldn't be Jewish and shouldn't be a Holocaust survivor.
Oh shit, we're getting real heavy here on House of Bards once again.
Because of the implication that it's unrealistic that, you know, he is, like, still, like, not like an old-as-fuck man. And, like, they keep coming up with reasons like, oh, he's got a secondary mutation that makes him age slower, or he's got, like, you know, a secondary power that in some way rejuvenates him, or he's going through some sort of rejuvenation surgical procedure every now and then. It's a thing. And I get really annoyed at the assertion that that's unrealistic, but somehow defrosting Captain America with a hairdryer is perfectly A-okay. Or that Red Skull still being alive is...
I mean, like, you could defrost Magneto with a hairdryer. Somebody would. It's not like there's not a supply of people who would defrost Magneto with a hairdryer.
Yeah, I think the issue with Magneto is that he needs to have witnessed the sort of 20th century and the fall of man, as it were.
So defrost him in the 70s. And then just let him see everything up until this point. He can still be an old as fuck man.
Yeah. So, like, freeze him after he survives the Holocaust as a child. Defrost him in the 70s and then, like, have him, like, grow.
I mean, how many people, in addition to Steve Rogers, were, like, brought forward in time by being put on ice? I know it's a non-zero number. I'm pretty sure they pulled the exact same shit with, like, more than one person related to Captain America.
So, Captain America. Bucky, technically, although he was defrosted multiple times and then, like, put back on ice when, like, they needed him. Like an ice pack, like, oh no, the Soviets have to kill so-and-so, bring the ice pack out and put it on Stalin's knee to soothe the swelling. Like that, like a Soviet ice pack, Bucky Barnes gets brought out to snipe someone in the head. Like, quite a few members of the Howling Commandos that aren't the monster versions of the Howling Commandos, because there's two Howling Commandos. There's the one that, like, Captain America used to run with in World War II, and then there's, like, the Howling Commandos all entirely made up of movie monsters.
This is a fucking... Is this podcast just Beth talks about comics and Alex is really confused by the things that are apparently not a joke about comics?
What's confusing about movie... Like, it does make sense, because here's the thing about Marvel. They own a fuck ton of shit, okay? And at one point they all went, this all exists in the same universe. So we all had to go, what about all those movie monster comics you made? And they're like, yes, they all exist in the same universe as Captain America, Spider-Man, the X-Men. They all exist in the same universe. And they too are superheroes. So we were like, okay, that sounds fake, but
Marvel
okay.
is owned by Disney, though, like, isn't it? Does this work the other way as well?
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Right, we're going down the rabbit well in a minute.
So Star Wars exists in the same universe as Marvel?
Well, Marvel do print Star Wars comics at the minute, so technically yes. But you have things like Doctor Who exists in the same universe as the Marvel universe.
What?
And they... Yeah, because Marvel UK used to publish Doctor Who comics, and Doctor Who crossed over with a character from Marvel Comics who was created for Transformer Comics UK, but because they liked that character so much, they didn't want him to be owned by the Transformers, so they had him show up in a Doctor Who comic beforehand. So then he was part of the Marvel universe, not a part of these separate universes. And there's actually a Luke Cage and Iron Fist comic where they fight these things called the Sarlaccs, and they meet this guy called Professor, like, something or other, and they're like blatant Dalek and Doctor Who XPs, and you're kind of sitting there thinking, was this intended to be a legit Doctor Who Marvel crossover? And then you find out that the writer of that comic, she wrote some Doctor Who comics for Marvel UK and was a big fan of the show.
This is some Donkey Kong Expanded Universe shit right here. We can
get right into it. So there's this thing called ROM, right?
Yeah.
We're getting way off base, but
no, sure,
I mean,
let's go with this.
Somewhere...
Where are we going? It's more interesting than what we were talking about anyway. I think the original topic
it was a bit, yeah.
Just this podcast, the podcast, which is not good. Let's go with this.
So there's this thing called Rom the Space Knight, and he was like this toy created in like the 80s, I think. And what ended up happening was, I think there was like this 70 long issue comic. And because Rom is owned by Mattel, Marvel can never use Rom in anything else ever again, so there can never be another Rom Space Knight. But everything else concerning Rom's universe, Marvel all owns. So you have these things called the Dire Wraiths, and a lot of the extended characters, like the other Space Knight characters, all exist within the Marvel universe, but not Rom specifically.
So it's Rom minus Rom, then?
Yeah, so there are things that Marvel UK will have created in Doctor Who comics, I'm sure there will have been, that have been kept over into the Marvel universe that haven't been put into the Doctor Who universe. And that will go for the Transformers comics as well.
Right, yes, Transformers comics, that means that everything that the Transformers have ever interacted with is also part of Marvel canon, because Transformers are kind of weird about that.
I mean,
also,
technically,
the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
It depends if you count if you count the IDW Marvel, IDW Transformers comics as a separate Transformers universe to the Marvel one.
We're going full Donkey Kong Expanded Universe here. Any franchise that has interacted in any way with Marvel is part of the Marvel universe. So, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because Douglas Adams wrote an episode of Doctor Who where the Fourth Doctor talks about Ulan Kalufid, who is a character in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, confirming that Doctor Who and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy take place in the same universe, which takes place in the Marvel universe. So the Marvel universe has everything from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in it. Also, like, the massive variety of, like, personified corporate mascots that the Transformers have interacted with. Also G.I. Joe, probably.
Yeah. That's even easier. I can connect those two easily. So, the Transformers exist in the Marvel universe. The Transformers have interacted with Doctor Who character comics. Doctor Who's interacted with Star Trek. Star Trek has interacted with G.I. Joe.
I mean, G.I. Joe has directly interacted with the Transformers, so you could have got there closer.
Yeah. It's...
what else? The Transformers are owned by Hasbro, so I'm really trying to get Magic the Gathering in there. Yeah. But I think just being owned by the same company is not sufficient, unless that company is Marvel. But
no,
maybe.
I think it counts. Because I think My Little Pony does exist in the same universe as the Marvel universe. I will put that on right now.
That means My Little Pony exists in Magic the Gathering. Although Magic the Gathering is honestly one of the best universes for this, because its whole deal is that it's an infinitely diverse multiverse. So probably literally everything exists in the Magic the Gathering universe.
Yeah.
Including Transformers and Marvel. So that's fine. And also My Little Pony.
Man, you really go down the rabbit hole with some of these things. I think especially if you take into account IDW's comics.
This is the worst tangent we've ever been on. Do we even remember what we were talking about before?
I can't even remember. I know we're talking about world building.
No, just leave it. It's gone now. I'm
gone.
afraid that the topic has deserted us. We are so far off topic that eventually we'll just sort of get round to being on topic again somehow.
Okay.
Somehow. In second edition, there are a bullshit number of schools of magic. This is my favourite. Can I please tell this story? This is my favourite story.
Okay.
About second edition. Okay. So, when they made second edition, there's one more school of magic than there ought to be, because divination is split into lesser divination and greater divination. Why? Why would that be a thing? Well, you see, the thing is, everybody has lesser divination.
Right.
And only people who take, only like generalized wizards or specialists who take greater divination get greater divination.
Yeah.
Why would that be the case? Because the spell read magic is divination, which means that if you have it be part of a unified divination class, as soon as a wizard specializes, they can't learn any spells. It's the stupidest thing, and it's like 100% the reason why I have never in any edition of D&D DM'd that you have to cast, like, read magic to learn spells.
Right, okay.
It's bullshit, and it's like, if you're a fucking wizard, you should know how to read at least your own script's way of encoding magic.
Yeah.
That's just fucking common sense. Actually, before we get completely off the topic of Indiana Jones, this is a complete tangent, but I'm probably going to leave it in because this really pisses me off.
All right, yeah, sure.
Have you seen all of those derivative works of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they do that thing that Indiana Jones does, where he's trying to take the thing off the pressure plate, and he has the big bag of sand, and he puts the bag of sand onto the pressure plate to, like, keep the pressure plate down? And there's so many derivative works that are either playing this straight or making fun of it, and none of them seem to take, like, any notice of the fact that in Raiders of the Lost Ark, that doesn't work. The whole setup of the intro scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark is that he does that and it doesn't work.
It's true, yeah, it's true.
Like, the floor starts falling away. It's not funny if you're making fun of it by being like, oh, this is just like Raiders of the Lost Ark. But it doesn't work. Ooh, and I'm like, it didn't work in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was bullshit.
I mean, there is that theory, isn't there, that, like, so much humour now is references, right?
I've actually seen, like, really, really good meta that the reason why millennials love surrealist humour is because we were brought up on, like, very, very referential television that included, like, a whole load of throwbacks that we didn't understand, but which were, in context, supposed to be funny.
Like,
so now just we find random things that don't make any sense funny.
Like, this may be controversial, but I have never seen the original trilogy of Star Wars, 4... 5 and 6. I've never seen all of them all the way through. Right?
I'm actually not sure if I have.
I've seen a bit of the start of 4. I've seen bits in the middle, and then I've and then I don't know anything else, but I know all of the plot of
It's
A New Hope.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I think I have seen all of the original trilogy of Star Wars. Whether I have seen all of it in order at the same time is another matter.
I know,
I think either I've seen it piecemeal, or a couple of years ago I did actually sit down and watch all 3 of them all the way through, specifically because I always couldn't remember if I had seen them, like, exactly this problem, which probably means it didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I assume, hopefully, right, ITV will replay all of the movies in chronological order, like, during November and December before The Force Awakens comes out.
I feel
and
at
then
least one terrestrial TV channel is going to do that.
And then I'll be completely caught up and I'll have seen all of the Star Wars movies and I'll be fine.
No, you won't. You'll have seen all of The Empire Strikes Back and all of the Return of the Jedi and half of A New Hope because you didn't realise that it was going to be on at that particular time and you tuned in halfway through.
Yeah, you're right, I will. Yeah, that is exactly what's going to... But I mean, like, I know the start of A New Hope. Right? I know how all of the story of A New Hope works. I know that he's, like, on the planet, he meets Obi-Wan, and is she called Puna or Pruna? I don't know. But I know she dies and I know his uncle dies, whatever.
Aunt Beru.
Aunt Beru, thank you. I can't believe I just said Poon on this podcast.
Oh my god.
It was gonna happen eventually. Puna, Jesus Christ.
Honestly, given how much we swear on this podcast, I'm surprised that it happened that out of context.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So they get fucked. Obi-Wan trains them up. There's some stuff with, like, the Sand People, whatever. And then, like, some other shit happens. Some shit with, like, Darth Vader, whatever. Oh yeah, there's also that shit with, like, Leia at the start, anyway. And then, like, you meet Han Solo, and he shoots first, and then him and Luke go on a magical journey on the Millennium Falcon together. At some point, Obi-Wan dies, and they rescue Leia. And then, like, there's that scene, and then they blow up the Death Star. Right, I know how it happens. I know in theory how everything works and fits together. I've just never seen it all in order. Sometimes I've seen things out of context of the movie. Like, I've seen clips on TV shows that aren't, like, that are, like, list shows or whatever, like, greatest movie scenes or greatest sci-fi movies ever. Okay? Yeah? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
weird,
just what happens.
It's like there's a whole load of television now, television in particular, but sometimes even movies, that do this thing where it's like, we're going to do this entire... for instance, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that The Breakfast Club is a really good movie, and I'm probably going to watch it at some point. Yeah. But it is one of the movies that I hate the most out of all the movies that I've never watched, because it has inspired the bottle episode plot.
Yeah.
Let's be clear here. There is only one plot for a bottle episode in a television show. so you know exactly from the start how it's going to end. It's bullshit, it's boring, it's actually really distressing when it's done well, and it's completely pointless when it's done badly. Even the Community bottle episode, which lampshaded the fact that it was a bottle episode and they're all the same at the beginning, was shit. Also, Midnight is the worst episode of New Doctor Who. You don't know what you're talking about, shut up.
No, Midnight is the best You know what?
Midnight is the worst episode.
Okay, it's not the best episode, but it's still good.
As bottle episodes go, it's one of the better ones, but it's still shit. Because it's a fucking bottle episode. And bottle episodes began because people were like, hey, we should imitate the Breakfast Club, because that's a thing to do.
I'm pretty sure bottle episodes started because, like, of budget reasons, because you get so far in a TV show, and you're like, but we've run out of fucking money, so we need to do a bottle episode. So we can only use this. But now, all bottle episodes, like, the central conflict they are based on calls back to the mimetically remembered bottle episode plot, which is the Breakfast Club. Yeah, which, to be fair, Midnight didn't do, because I haven't seen the Breakfast Club, but I don't think they fight an alien who does that really annoying thing.
But they all turn on each other because they're really frustrated with each other's company because they're all trapped in a box together, which is the main reason why bottle episodes are bullshit. Yeah, it's realistic. It's also really boring when it's done badly, and really upsetting when it's done well. It's just not good television. Stop doing this. I know it's cheap. It's also really bad. Anyway, we're not talking about Bards anymore.
Development.
It's not character development, though.
Sometimes it is, okay?
But it's not. They don't learn anything, except that they shouldn't be in a box together. And I'm like, I could probably have told you that. It's not hard. Anyway,
okay.
We've gone on like a tangent off a tangent off a tangent here.
Yeah,
I think we should talk about Bards.
Yes.
Who was I?
Who I think in a bottle episode would probably be like the most annoying and the first to get killed, because everyone will be like, "Stop singing."
Either the Bard is the first to get killed, or the Bard is the one who like goes the longest without blowing their top, because the Bard is the one who knows how crowd dynamics work.
Yes.
Because they have to play to crowds.
Yeah.
Might just put a big picture of Shakespeare up on there, but I'm pretty sure actually
that would be so boring. We've got to do something different.
That Carmen's done a couple of pictures of Bards, so I'll see if I can ask her.
Yeah. Come on, let's pick something cool. Yeah.
If I do choose a picture of Shakespeare, I will try and find like the most interesting picture of Shakespeare that I can.
Yeah,
not that one that everyone's seen. You know the one.
I mean,
you're thinking of it in your mind right now. Not that one.
There's that one painting that may possibly be of young Shakespeare, but we don't know. It could or could not be Shakespeare. But yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, so yes, feel free to leave a comment if you liked the video. You can also use the hashtag House of Bards. That's all one word on Twitter and other places that only allow like one word hashtags, but split it up into multiple words on Tumblr and other places that are like, sure, however many words in a hashtag you like.
Yeah. Well, actually, on Tumblr you do need under 50 words in a tag.
Sure.
That's true.
Try and keep the phrase House of Bards under 50 words if you can, because we probably won't see it otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, Tumblr's just changed the tag search system. I use XKit, and XKit is largely unaffected by that change, so look, I should still see it.
I will say this right now. We could have an entire if we could find the justification, we could do an entire podcast on how much Tumblr's coding and how much they don't listen to user feedback. Like, how much Tumblr as a website I just fucking loathe, but the only reason I'm still here is because of, like, fun illustrations and the people.
I worked for a year in web UI design, and I have to tell you two things. One is that Tumblr is bollocks, and the other is that Craigslist is fucking amazing. How the shit have they done that?
Craigslist is amazing.
Go and look at Craigslist. Go and how did that happen?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
You know,
I love
it. I was going through my tags because I have some tracked tags that I tag. That, you know, I follow the tag for a specific kind of a year. Sometimes I track the Eurovision tag, but I only really want Eurovision posts when Eurovision's on. You know, so I can follow the discourse, so I can find funny GIFs and images.
Sure.
So I don't really want to see it outside of Eurovision season, which is what I have been getting it constantly. I think I've been getting it with Pottermore as well, like just seeing the same fucking post about accessorizing the robes. It was a lovely post, well put together, lots of thoughtful meta, but I don't want to see it 50 times over and over again. I don't know how they made recommended blogs even worse and even more intrusive, but they found a fucking way. Fuck God!
Christ.
Sorry, I had to get that out. It doesn't even matter if that ends up being in the podcast or not, but I had to get that out.
I don't like talking about Tumblr too much on the podcast.
I know.
Sure. Okay, I think
I just want them all to get fired, and then the company to just like get in new people.
No,
that's what I want.
Just please kill Tumblr.
Yeah, kill Tumblr. Look, at this point, I'm actively hoping 4chan finds a way to kill Tumblr. I mean,
no, I don't want 4chan to kill Tumblr. I want somebody who deserves to kill Tumblr.
Yeah, someone who deserves it. Craigslist deserves to kill Tumblr.
Craigslist, please kill Tumblr. And I'm even doing the little praying motion.
Yeah.
I don't actually know where that meme comes from.
I don't know yet.
But whatever.
Do you think in Incredibles 2, do you think like the characters will be like the kid characters will be aged up slightly and they're like teenagers and that's what they're gonna have to deal with?
Maybe.
Is like, you know, Violet going off to like university and everyone will cry.
Definitely possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Who knows? I'd want the Incredibles 2 to happen I've waited so long for that movie. Like everyone's
it's actually happening again. It's not like every single time that every news outlet took Brad Bird saying, yes, if I could get the right producer, sure. Is it he's the producer and he wanted a director? But whatever. Every single time he was asked, he said, yeah, sure, if we can get this, because I don't want people to fuck it up. And every single major news outlet was like, oh my god, he's making The Incredibles 2. And I'm like, no, he isn't. But now he actually is.
Yeah,
so,
he's like, yeah.
So he's like, we found one.
It's like, oh!
We're getting going. And, or at least he was last time we heard. Might be cancelled, we hope not, because I really want to see that film as well.
I want to see that film too, yeah. I think there's so much potential you could do with that.
Yeah.
I think even if you picked up very soon afterwards, it would still be good. But I kind of feel like, for me, I would like there to have been a time skip.
I think a time skip would be good, because, you need new problems, basically, because they resolved all the problems in the first film, and that was done. That was sorted, that was fine.
Yeah, like, stuff like Dash entering high school, and Violet kind of entering, university and stuff, and leaving home, and then, Jack kind of entering,
oh, that'd be weird. If they aged
school.
up, Jack would be like an actual ambulatory child who could talk. That would be
I know, yeah.
Kind of weird, but also cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely is good. I mean, man, The Incredibles is such a good film.
It is. I love The Incredibles.
It's so good.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made.
You might be right. You might be right.
It's not exactly a high bar, but yeah.
I liked not the most recent Fantastic Four movie, the two before that. They weren't good, but I liked them.
I didn't like right. Doctor Doom in it, and that is my main issue with it.
Doctor Doom, I knew very little of comics at that point, and even then I was like, this seems not how Doctor Doom is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Based on my limited knowledge of how Doctor Doom is supposed to happen. And I think also, I can't remember who played him, but I didn't think he was charismatic enough to be Doom.
Yeah.
Although Doom himself seems... I mean, presumably he is charismatic, but you look at him and you think there's no particular reason that this man should be charismatic at all.
What a fucking nerd! Doom is...
He lies about having a PhD, and he's a big nerd who watches Star Trek.
Doom is charismatic because simply of his presence. He's the bear of the superhero world, which is weird because I assume because of the very severe burns on his body, he's actually not that hairy. But it's the presence he generates. So I think if you ever get a Doom, you have to have him be quite a big dude, and with quite a big, deep, booming voice. So,
at the very least, if you're going to have a little dude, then you've got to shoulder pad him to fuck.
Oh yeah. If
you look at Raven, how in the first series, if you see episodes of the first series of Raven, it's really fucking weird because they didn't put shoulder pads on James McKenzie at all, and he's allowed to be a lot more sympathetic to the kids rather than being really stony like he was later. And it's that's not Raven. Yeah. Raven's a big hulky guy with massive shoulders and a really hot face and a really well trimmed beard who is dramatically unsympathetic to children, except when some other character is being even less kind to them, where he's been like, no, fuck off, right?
No,
These are my kids.
No. Again, another uncliched game start. You've all been assembled by Raven specifically.
Fucking Raven. Oh god. That would be terrible. But like maybe like some kind of Raven XP has like kidnapped you. I don't think it's ever like established within the concept of the game show exactly like where these children are supposed to come from.
They're supposed to be from like different kingdoms, aren't they, or something like that?
I think maybe they changed it every series.
Yeah.
Because I think like in one of the series, they show you, like, a couple of the early series, they do actually show you how they make the silly names for the children. We're, like, anagramizing their, like, real names, and then they just drop that entirely, and just the children always have those names. And it's like, wow, that's strange. Especially since Raven is a fucking common noun. I mean, come on, dude. Why do you get a real name, and they all have to have, like, random jumbles of consonants and vowels?
Yeah.
That would be fucking strange.
Yeah.
That's another show that I don't think got syndicated in the US, so people in North America probably have no idea what we're talking about. And think like, Raven-Symoné
is it weird that I can say I understand why it didn't get syndication in the US? Because like, I don't feel that like the American version of Raven would be like too extreme. I feel.
I don't know. I mean, didn't they syndicate Nightmare?
Did they syndicate Night? Well,
I thought they did. And like Nightmare is alright. Nightmare is a step above Raven, but like Raven is often I've seen it referred to as like the spiritual successor to Nightmare in terms of like
it is definitely
fundamentally unfair and grueling game shows for children.
Oh man, Nightmare was such bullshit. But I would like to point out the first people that went on there, they did win.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I love it. Nightmare.
Don't go researching like game shows, by the way, like as a topic, because it will probably depress you when you find out how many game shows were created because people couldn't get the rights to just remake Fort Boyard. It's really astonishing how many game shows have come apart because people are like, we want to make Fort Boyard, but the French won't let us make Fort Boyard.
Yeah.
So we're going to make our own very similar game show with a different premise.
What's the game show where they got people from? It would be like in like the 70s. I don't know if Alex will even remember the name of it, but is it like It's a Knockout or something like that? It's a Knockout
was a game show. I don't know if it's the one that you're referring to.
Well, they got people from like different countries and had them like compete against each other, like quite dangerous tasks and stuff like that. They were all incredibly unfair and ridiculous.
That could be literally any game show.
That could be literally any game show.
Who presented it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
What kind of tasks?
I don't even, I just remember really, like, almost, like, total wipeout level of absurdity, except instead of landing in water, you generally landed in mud.
Fucking, I don't know.
It's gotta be, it must be It's a Knockout. I must be thinking of that. Surely.
Let's look it up. What was It's a Knockout like?
Yeah.
This is a horse of Brad's, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, at least part of one. I think I'm going to put together another piecemeal one soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's a Knockout TV show. Possibly from the screenshots I'm seeing here.
Yeah, it all look. I don't know. This looks really tame. Hang on. I don't. It's adapted from the French show Interviews. Why are they all adapted?
Apparently the French just come up with all game shows ever.
Really?
Apparently. I don't... Are you sure you're not thinking of The Crystal Maze with Richard O'Brien?
No, I'm not thinking of The Crystal Maze, but that's also an excellent game start, let's be real right now.
The Crystal Maze also created because people weren't allowed to remake Fort Boyard.
I just... Crystal Maze, fucking love it. But yeah, no, that's, yeah. I feel like we're done. We've went off the topic so wildly.
So the point is, giving a character a memorable physical or like otherwise trait is going to make them memorable. That's how this works. Like for instance, in your game, Beth, Matt just rolled a new character.
Yes.
Harrow is a wizard and a paralegal.
Yeah.
Neither of these things are the most notable thing about him.
No.
Most notable thing about Harrow is that he doesn't have any eyes. because he is an irresponsible fire mage and he burnt out his own eyes.
Yeah.
Apparently this happened 4 years ago and he still hasn't got used to being blind. Which I find questionable, but sure, it's a memorable thing about him.
I think it's despite being look, I am not the best person in the world, but I think a lot of this character's inspiration largely came a bit from Toph Beifong as well, from the Avatar Last Airbender cartoon. Who does
the limited amount I know about Toph suggests to me that could be plausible, yes.
Who does have some japes and funniness, and she does tell jokes about being blind, but sometimes I feel like with Harrow we are just laughing at the fact that he's blind, which is terrible.
But, in some ways the 4 years thing kind of makes it better, because it's like, then we're laughing at the fact that he hasn't got used to being blind for 4 years, even though people generally would.
Yeah.
And that he's, like, in general, not particularly accomplished or bright. That's horrible as well.
I know that Commissioner Lilyhammer once just said, he was like this before, so it's fine.
But there's all sorts of things you could talk about like that. I remember Psychonauts dragged up quite a lot of this kind of talk about exactly how we create humour out of disability and stuff like that. But that was because Psychonauts had a lot in it about intelligence and the concept thereof.
Yeah.
That it was using for its humour. So I guess it was just natural that would happen. So I actually think Matt is really good at this,
Yeah.
Just to maybe go off. It's not really a tangent. I think Matt is very good at creating PCs who have something uninvasive but notable about them.
Yeah, no, he's very good at that.
And I think possibly that was what was frustrating him about his previous character in your game.
Yeah.
That there wasn't anything particularly about Darius. I mean, the other thing that's frustrating him is Matt apparently doesn't like warlocks. He doesn't think they're good. But I think possibly one of the things that was frustrating him is that there wasn't anything particularly notable about Darius, and he wasn't very interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas Harrow and Silas both have a thing that makes them very notable, while being reasonably different people.
Yeah.
They're both just as silly, but where Harrow is... I think they're both clumsy, but Harrow owns being clumsy and takes not responsibility, but suffers consequences for it. Whereas the funny thing about Silas is that he's recklessly silly and he doesn't suffer consequences for it.
It's true, yeah.
Or at least not in ways that don't then turn out to be in some way beneficial to him.
I mean, one of Darius's most notable traits was that I really liked to either accidentally, or by accident, or on purpose lump misfortune on him, which may have made him slightly taxing to play at times. So I do sometimes understand why Matt didn't like playing that character, because I would, even sometimes by accident, there was this place where you went to where you picked up a random enchanted object and it instantly bonded with you. And everyone else kind of rolled quite a nice thing.
Oh, yeah. That.
And Matt rolled a crap thing. Yeah.
Well, that does sometimes happen.
No, it does, yeah.
But yeah, definitely, those things sort of became the character. So, as a player, that's pretty easy to do, as long as you know, not to pile too many notable... Because the thing is, one notable thing, or maybe two, is probably best. Because if you start putting too many of them on, I think that's why the concept of the Mary Sue in its legitimate form exists, in that if you have too many interesting things, none of them are interesting.
That's true, yeah.
Because there's just too many of them. The interesting thing, I think, is a way of allowing your character to maintain attention paid to them so that they can do actual interesting things.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's better to call it a notable thing. Than something that inherently makes your character interesting.
Yeah. Notable characteristics, yes.
Mm-hmm. And the best thing I think about those in a party is that if one or two players have them, but they have consequences, then other players don't necessarily have to have them.
Yeah.
If you have a character in a party whose only notable trait is that he isn't notable, that's notable. It inverts itself. If you have the one person who's sort of the sense of stability.
Yeah, I mean that is both Valanthe and Marion. That's the characters that Becca plays.
I think
like
in my game, Marion and Balasar sort of take turns being that character.
Yeah. Like I think Marion sometimes a lovesick fool, and Jay vice versa. But yeah. But I think especially in To Earth, it's like, you know, Azriel the gloomy, sarky.
Azriel the Contrarian, I think.
Azriel the Contrarian, yeah.
Because Azriel is a lot of things, and I was like, how do I reconcile Azriel being all of these things together? Until I figured it's like, Azriel is in an environment where he basically doesn't like anybody, and when he meets people he doesn't like, he tries to figure out what will annoy them the most, and then just does that constantly. And he probably doesn't even know he's doing it.
It's true, he probably doesn't, yeah.
But, like, suddenly randomly turning into this, like, I randomly antagonize children for no readily apparent reason person, when they were dealing with that child who might be a hag.
Yeah. And the thing is that session was great because it was Volanthe realizing that she didn't know these people at all. Like, her just going, oh my god, I'm with a bunch of, like, really murder-happy humans, and what about...
It's like, I thought I knew this gloomy Inquisitor cleric person, but now he's trying to convince a little girl that if she turns out to be a horrible, like, witch fae being, then she's just going to have to get used to baking babies into pies. That's awful. I did not know that about this person before.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my god. Like,
I love that exchange.
Yeah, like, I think, like, to an extent, when Darius was alive, a lot of it got kind of... Because he was, like, the most immoral character out of all of them, which is amazing when Azriel is in a group of someone. But now that Harrow has joined, Azriel and Harrow kind of share the immorality together. Of, like, doing, like... Really...
Azriel is great for, like, focused immorality because he does have a drive and he does have a code. Mm-hmm. It's just that he's inherently contemptuous of everybody in the environment he's currently in.
It's true, yeah.
Like, he doesn't like, I want to say white people. It's like, whoever the people who aren't nomads are. He doesn't particularly like nomads either, but he doesn't like, you know, the non-nomadic people in their cities and their towers and whatever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like landlubbers, and he doesn't like people who don't, like, acknowledge Denska. And he doesn't really like anyone because he has to be prepared for people to die and to bury them. So it's just this compound of people he hates around him, and he's prepared to keep antagonizing them because it's amusing to him in some small way. I think he probably has a lot more of a sense of humor than most of the people who interact with him understand.
Yes, I think that's true. I think Harrow's immorality is because he's lawful neutral, so it's like, but it's the law.
Yeah, he's bureaucratic then.
Yeah.
And that's honestly the thing that annoys Azriel the most about Harrow, I think. Is that he's like, you know, I don't care for these mortal laws. I don't particularly understand them. Like, Azriel was having real trouble, and I was kind of as well, with the idea of, like, going to see an obviously alive and non-persecuted adult hag.
Yes.
As part of the legal proceeding for determining whether a child was a hag, and if she was, she would be executed.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't understand this, but I'm prepared to let it go. But Azriel isn't. Azriel thinks that this is terrible and it doesn't make any sense and it's a waste of time, and he's going to antagonize everybody involved until they admit that it's silly.
Yeah. But, oh yeah, and then, like, when he was talking to Estelan, and you were immediately like, the princess is a werewolf.
Yes, Azriel does not actually believe that the princess is a werewolf, but he feels like he can annoy people by talking about, like, very, very tangentially related to lycanthropy symptoms as being obvious evidence that the princess is a werewolf.
Yeah.
So he is just essentially like a grumpy contrarian.
Yeah.
Who antagonizes people for his own amusement.
And
didn't we blow up a train?
Yeah, but that's not really going to come back and bite you in your ass. But I am thinking of someone on that train who is going to come back and bite you in your ass.
Was it the guy that, like, everybody wanted to tie up and shit and I didn't really care? Because Azrael was like, this man has not committed a crime that I need to arrest him for.
It's
is it the guy that Azrael threw off a train?
Francis. Yes. And I was like, yeah, he lived.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. I was like, well, I don't think you're going to be able to kill him by yourself.
A named character who could scale to Azrael in strength. I did not expect him to just die.
Yeah. So he's definitely coming back, and he's going to come back in a big way. And actually, there's something else that Azrael has done that's really bad. Well, he hasn't done it yet, but he wants to do it, and that will come back and ultimately bite him in the ass as well.
I can think of 2 things that he might want to do that will severely annoy somebody, probably.
What?
One of them is sexual, the other one is criminal.
Yeah, I imagine both of them are gonna I don't know what the criminal what's the criminal one?
Oh, he doesn't like the chief of police, not the chief of the Royal Guard. He doesn't have any respect for the Royal Guard at all, and he wants to do something, some deep trespass against this man to annoy him.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, no, correction, Azrael has done 3 things that will come back and bite him in the ass.
He's hiding Kaluna from everyone else.
He's done 4 things that will come back and bite him in the ass later
Azrael
on.
makes many bad choices based on how much he hates other people.
Yeah.
What could the thing she's getting at be? Forgetting who the royal liaison lady was? That was embarrassing, but I was kind of spacing out at that point.
No, yeah, that won't come back and bite you in the ass, because Lilyhammer's got you back.
Convincing the bear to reject hypermasculinity?
No.
Invading Lucien Bartell's... Azrael specifically, so invading Lucien Bartell's house is not... Getting the guy off in the trial? That wasn't Azrael either, though. That was just Zone of Truth convincing everyone that he was innocent.
That was just the truth. That was just the truth. No, that's not going to come back and bite you in your ass.
Saying that Commissioner Lilyhammer looked very nice in that dress. In fact, a deep insult to her, and she is going to make his life difficult.
No, that's
the werewolf thing.
You've already mentioned it. This is the thing.
Invading Lucien Bartello's house?
No.
That's not. How can I have already mentioned it and then discounted it out of hand?
You said one of them was sexual.
Oh, but you increased the number when I talked about the sexual thing.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I did.
I was confused.
Yeah, I thought you were going to guess one, and because you couldn't guess them all.
No, I fucking the elf is going to happen, right?
Right, yeah, no, it is, yeah, because I'm like, yeah, whatever.
The blowing all the money on
that's going to bite you in the ass, but that's not going to bite you in the ass in an unpleasant way. I don't think.
Lady M.
No, that increases the number. Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot about that. Your association with her is going to bite you in the ass.
I mean, I was like, that's not really sexual. That's like the opposite of sexual because he doesn't like her.
Yeah.
You know, if she had her way, apparently it would be sexual.
Yeah. So, Francis, Lady M, banging the elf will definitely fuck you over again.
He's probably still going to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, this elf would probably consent to having sexual intercourse with me, but on the other hand, that would deeply antagonize him. Because he seems very conflicted about it, so I'm definitely going to fuck the elf.
It's not sorry. It's like, I did imply that he was in a relationship with the elven prince, so it's like...
Oh, I completely missed that, and I imagine that Azrael probably would have done as well.
Yeah, so it's like... you just...
that's gonna happen.
Just boned the prince's boyfriend.
See, now that I know that, it seems like a bad idea, but it also sounds exactly like something that Azrael would do.
I know.
In fact, he would probably do it more, knowing what the ramifications of it were. He would be more keen to do it.
Azrael makes really bad... You know how we constantly mock Silas for making bad choices?
No, see, Silas makes bad choices because, he's a cool nihilist.
Yeah.
Azrael deliberately makes bad choices because he's an aggressive contrarian. I think that's the difference between them.
It's like Silas is Tumblr and makes bad choices because of nihilism, and Azriel is a 4chaner.
No, Azriel is just the concept of 4chan. Like, maybe not 4chan, I don't know. I don't know, like, what would be, like, a nicer way to describe Azriel that still captures that sense of deliberate contrarianism.
South Park, I suppose, but it can't. No, South Park.
Azriel is not South Park. Shut up.
Azriel is not South Park.
No. Azriel is anonymous. Like, you could never trust him. Sometimes he does good things, but he's just deliberately contrarian to anybody he doesn't like and anybody who attempts to control him.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. He is, though.
One day, I really want to get into, like, the soul and core of, like, Azriel and just rip away all the cynicism and contrarianism and just have his heart bare to the eagles on the mountain.
To, like, talk to, you know, bring up more about the only thing he has visibly cared about since he was introduced.
That's true.
He's going to find Lucian Bartello, and honestly, when he finds you know that bit? Have you watched Elementary?
Just season 1.
Oh, you know that bit in the middle of season 1 where Sherlock goes off the deep end and goes and does something, like, horrible and deeply illegal to Moran?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when Azriel has a strong lead on Bartello, that is going to happen.
I see.
Like, he's concerned about this person implied to be, you know, behind Bartello's deeds, but that's not really the point.
Yeah.
The point is finding Bartello and doing something horrible to him.
I see.
Probably unethical as well. I'm wondering if maybe, like, Azriel would kill Bartello and then bury him and then disinter him just to...
Yeah.
I feel it would work better if he killed Bartello, let other people bury him, and then disinterred him.
Yeah.
But there'll be other things to do first.
Yes.
Because that's the only thing he's, like, visibly cared about since he arrived.
It's true. Well, I guess... I mean, technically it's related, but that and his little sister.
Yeah, but she's dead.
Yeah, she is.
And he vaguely cares about, like, nomad stuff, but not enough to actually like nomads.
I see.
It's more like, if I have to feel an affinity with anybody, then these are my people, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. Anyway, I'm probably going to cut all of that out, because it doesn't make any sense to people listening.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
It really bothered me that, like, when I was a kid, the only thing that got this right, apparently, was the Scooby-Doo movie. But I fucking hate that trope where, like, two people are body swapped and they begin talking in each other's voices. Like, that wouldn't happen because your voice is determined by the shape of your vocal cords, which don't change. Or, I mean, presumably wouldn't change. Like, body swapping isn't real, so we don't know. But, like, there's no reason why they would change when a new person's, like, soul is inside you. I mean, like, maybe they would be used to a particular way of talking, so you might talk differently, but you wouldn't have literally their voice. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And in the Scooby-Doo movie, there is a point where they all, like, get their spirits taken out, and they're all, like, there, but they all go in, like, the wrong bodies, and they just have the actors do impressions of each other. Yeah. Which is both easier to do and what would actually happen.
Yeah, but I think that's live action, you know, and this is a cartoon. This, like, Batman of the future is a cartoon, and children are stupid.
I feel that while children are stupid, they are not as stupid as the people who keep doing that terrible trope believe that they are.
No, yeah, I know, but it's like shorthand, isn't it? This is a different person, this person's body.
No, you know? I'm sorry. Like, I understand the logic behind it. I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's a good creative decision.
Okay, fine. It's okay. But no, it is pretty good. That was actually quite an enjoyable bit of
you know what
the
bothers
Scooby-Doo
me the
movie.
Most? Right, when they mix the two tropes, when a character talks in another character's voice because they are possessed by that character, but other people treat that character as if everything is completely normal. And then, like, everybody treats this woman like she's not talking in a creepy old man voice.
Oh my god, that reminds you know what episode you would absolutely love, and I just remembered another thing that gets this right. It's that episode of the Justice League Ultimate Unlimited.
Is this the one where Lex Luthor doesn't know who the Flash is?
Yes, this is the one where the Flash and Lex Luthor swap bodies, and it just has the voice actors do impressions of each other. It's really good. Because obviously the voice actor of the Flash played Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yeah, so it's actually quite easy because he just puts on that character, so it's like, oh. Well, whereas you have the voice actor of Lex Luthor do shit like there's this one villain who goes, aren't you gonna wash your hands? And then you just have Lex Luthor go, no, because I'm evil, and it is the best episode of any TV show ever, is that episode of Justice League Unlimited. It's so good. Mind you, the setup for it, though, it was like, what did they think was going to happen? It's like, we're going to put the Flash in this chair, and we're going to have the Martian Manhunter connect their two minds so the Flash can spy on the villains, right? And it's like...
I have questions.
And it's like, one, why would you pick the Flash to do that?
That was my first question.
Wouldn't you rather have Batman in that situation? 2, what did you think was going to happen when that went wrong? No one's like, I mean, everyone knows immediately that the Flash has, like, switched places, so that is one of the good things. It's not like this freaky thing happens, and then, like, Lex Luthor's like, I better keep this a secret. He's like, I'm in someone else's body, what the fuck? Whereas, obviously, the Flash switches over and he's like, I'm in someone else's body, and all these villains will kill me instantly because I'm in Lex Luthor's body, because I can't run away quick. So he's like, I am going to pretend like everything is completely normal, and that nothing is the matter, but really the Flash is like, shit. And it's great. It's a great episode, and you'd love it. Everyone would love it because it's the best episode of anything ever.
Cool.
Yeah.